have never burped and will never burp in my life because it's rude. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Anthony, what's in a name?
Oh, are you going theater nerd with me now? I can't go theater nerd with you. You know that.
No? Where far art thou, Anthony? No, nothing?
Is it a rose by any other name?
It would smell sweet.
Yeah.
We got ourselves a pretty interesting article here sent in by none other than La Vida Loca himself, another Jay Martin. Sent in posted on our exclusive Discord, which is phenomenal, which you can be a part of if you are donating at least $1 every month, every 30 days, $1. It seems like nothing. Over at the patreon.com/We Have Concerns. This was posted in our cool science news channel, and it is an article on bbc.com about names. Now, let me give you this experiment, which evidently is a well-known one. I did not know it, but perhaps you do. Imagine in your mind, Anthony, two cartoon characters. All right. One is big and round, and the other is small and spiky.
Okay.
Got those in your head?
Yep.
You have to name them, and you have two names to choose from. One is Maluma, and the other is Taquet.
Yeah, sure. That's easy because Maluma has the more rounded, softer sounds. So most people would go Maluma. And a ket would be the spiky one because it's got those consonants. It's got that k, which sounds a little sharper.
That's exactly right. This is
but I would do the other way because I would know exactly what they were trying to do, and I want to throw off their data.
You're a contrarian.
Well,
You're a contrarian at heart.
The other thing is you want to give the characters a little bit of depth too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Play against type.
You gotta surprise the audience, keep them interested. Like, what is that? Why is that Maluma so spiky?
Do you know what they told Matthew Perry when they were doing Friends, which now sounds very offensive, and I can't believe that they actually said it to him.
What?
They said, "We're always going to write it gay, and you're always going to play it straight."
Classic.
Chandler was written to be gay, but the network wasn't ready.
Huh? That's funny.
Huh?
Wow.
So there you go.
Well, there you go, friends.
So sometimes you got to go against what the thing is.
Yes. Well,
except
in this case,
in terms of representation, when they never should have done that. And also, he shouldn't have wound up with Monica. It just feels like people getting old and pairing off because there's no one else to pair off with. Anyway, I'm in the middle of a rewatch of Friends, and I don't know why. It's a terrible show. Go on.
Oh, I never liked it the first time around. I was never in the Friends camp.
Not a great show.
Anyway, this is called the Maluma Taquet effect. And it is pretty widespread. Most people, the vast majority of people, would describe the Maluma sounds, the big B sounds, O sounds, L sounds, M sounds, bmul. These are called. Oops. Sorry, hang on. These are called sonorant sounds.
Yes, that's the word. Sonorant sounds. Sonorant. Yes.
Yes, and they are associated with sort of bigness, roundness, and they're also associated with kind of personality traits, not just sort of visuals, but also personality traits. So a sonorant sound is more associated with people who are soft or conscientious, agreeable, emotional people, likable. I mean, it's not even really, I shouldn't say likable. It's not even really a qualitative discernment. It's more just kind of like the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
Whereas these other sounds, which are voiceless stop phonemes, they are more associated with being extroverted, sharper things, a person who is more outgoing. And these are the these short sounds.
All the stuff that I would normally cut out of your microphone, but that you're doing on purpose over and over again right now, directly into your microphone.
Exactly.
Great. Love it. Keep going.
These guttural stops, these short sounds. The difference between the O and the The O is very big and round and open sounding, and the I is short and percussive. So this article is about a study that some professors at the University College London did, a number of experiments that they did in figuring out if our natural inclination to apply these characteristics to names with this sound are pervasive across culture and are really have any meaning, have any actual association. We sort of assume that a fictional character that is, drawn or expressed in one way should have that kind of sound. And people who are naming their kids, right? They spend a lot of time trying to find the right name for their kid. But does it actually translate into observable human characteristics in life? Or do we even assume that about you? Do we assume that if your name is Kate, that you are going to be more outgoing and extroverted because your name is Kate, whereas it's the
the Dickensian idea of names, right? Like,
yes,
where Charles Dickens always named his characters in a way that sounded like their personalities or was a portmanteau of their personalities, right?
Right. And I think I would venture to say most authors attempt to do that, right? I think you're trying to create a name for a character that sounds like what you're trying to convey about the character. And
now,
go ahead.
I do think that's kind of interesting, but I wonder, man, this sends me down a spiral of how much of it is sound, how much of it is culture, and how much of the culture is around the sound. Because I don't think of a Kate. Well, maybe I think of a Kate as being a little spikier than a Catherine, certainly than a Catherine, but maybe not a Katie or something. I don't know. Interesting.
Well, when I was looking at this, I was
You're
drawn
listening to this
into
and your name is Kate. Fuck you.
That's not. I don't think that's the takeaway we're supposed to.
Oh, is that not it?
That's not.
Is that not it?
No.
Your name's too harsh. Why aren't you a Kathy?
I was drawn into this like chicken and egg idea of, what came first, the feeling about this or the shape of the letter, because this spikiness that we're supposed to feel. Also, T's and K's are spiky letters, right? Is it a visual thing, or is the reason that those letters are shaped that way because that sound had that quality when we were coming up with language and writing language? And so those shapes, whereas an O is a big circular round, even symbol, I wonder, which came first, the visual, if we were impacted by the visual in how we register that sound, or if the visual is just an expression of what we already felt from the sound.
Right. Because obviously, like, you think round, you think O, but did we have an O when we first started saying aw and like thinking that it was a round noise? Obviously not, because like we thought it was round because we made an O to represent it.
Right. Yeah. So maybe it was already felt this like, oh, and there's some discussion in this article from these professors that, they think this may go all the way back to the birth of language in the human species, because what you were trying to do in a cave somewhere to express yourself is you're going, oh, you're trying to create this big round sound. Oh, I'm trying to tell you about this big round thing. And so that's kind of how language, whereas it feels different in the body. And so maybe that's how those sounds. But
they both, the way you did them, they both sound very like, I'm put off by both. If I can be honest, if you're like, if you're standing in the middle of a cave, jumping up and down, going, oh, or you're jumping up and down, going, either way, I'm like, dude, that guy needs to chill. Yeah. That guy, like, I'm not getting any different. Like, maybe it is an acting note. I think maybe it's a performance note. You played both of those the exact same way.
Well, I was trying to remove the variables, Anthony. I'm a good scientist over here. I'm on an award-winning science podcast. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
Science comedy podcast. And don't ask us which one we won an award for.
Get this. This feeling of spikiness versus roundness also applies to foods, right? There are the like bitter things like mint chocolate or crisps tend to be described as a taquette, and like cheeses and water and chocolate, milk chocolate tend to be described as the maluma. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of pervasive across even tastes and textures.
There's a Pixar movie in here somewhere, and I haven't figured it out yet, but it's there. You know what I mean? Like, it's there, and I'm just one log line away from cracking it, and we are going to make millions.
Well, another theory about why we may have this innate sense of how these sounds are supposed to look and feel and taste is, if you think of a series of drums, right? The biggest, roundest drum is going to have the boom, the biggest boom, boom. Mm-hmm. But the small, pick, 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 like so, the tinier, sharper, higher pitched tone is going to be the smaller, thinner drum.
We have this about everything. Yeah. We have this about everything. We think about everything this way. I'm looking around my apartment now, and I'm like, what's a maluma and what's a taquette?
Right.
See, now here's the trick. I'm looking at my dog. Very round, very soft, very fuzzy, also very small, very energetic. Seem like a little bit both. I'm trying to think. Would it be a maluma or a taquette? I think he's a taquette because he's tiny and he bounces around.
A taquette. Yeah, but I think that's why you named him Dagger, right? It's like that's a more of a taquette.
I named him Dagger because I knew he was going to be incredibly small, and I wanted him to have a reputation amongst the other dogs before they saw him. I thought if his name was Dagger, his full name is Dagger Cannonball Thunderfang, and I thought that if other dogs and dog owners knew that before they saw him, he would have a position of power before even walking in. Because his physicality wouldn't get it for him.
Right. Which is accurate.
Yeah.
But also there's nothing more spiky than Dagger, right?
That's true. That's very true.
So there's two more really fascinating elements to this. The first is that they decided to see if people spend so much time figuring out what they're going to name their kids, and we got to have the right name. Is there a sense of living up to your name? Does naming your kid Bob or Kate, does it actually translate into the kind of person that you end up being? Or do you end up being these personality traits that we think are associated with these sounds simply because that's your name?
See, now I'm a little thrown off because I live in LA and a lot of my friends work in entertainment. So I know some people who have names like Calliope and like Apple and shit like that. And so you can't I can't tell you if Calliope is like a Calliope. I can just tell you that it's the only Calliope I know. So although you would expect, and here's the other thing, is you would expect Calliope to be like real hippy dippy, artsy, blah, blah, blah. And yes, of course she is. So that throws it off,
Yes.
Los Angeles, I think, throws it all off.
They do go into in this article, they do go into a number of discussions about how they did not take novelty of name into account, like how that's perceived, which is a huge factor in how you perceive a person, is how unusual to you the name is, which is a whole other study. But interestingly, in their experimentation, in their study here, they found no consistent correlation from people to how they actually are based on their name. There's
that makes sense.
Zero impact that the sound of your name, while we do in abstract think these qualities are associated with these sounds, in practice, people don't end up behaving that way based on their name. And when we actually meet people, we don't associate those qualities with them after meeting them. It's only in the abstract, only in hearing the name. We assume a Molly or a Bob is going to be sort of a more emotional, warmer person, and a Kate or a Mike or a Kiki or something like that is going to be a sharper, more extroverted person. And then when we meet them, that literally all goes out the window. We just abandon any preconceptions we had and we take the person in front of us.
Because it's all about your star chart.
Once we find out
it can't be a name, it's the star chart.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I'm a Virgo and we all know that. And I give off big Virgo energy, Jeff.
Clearly.
No, I think this is funny. And I think we do this. I mean, everything we do is based on a preconceived notion, and it's because we're a constantly running database that's trying to keep ourselves alive. And so we're trying to keep ourselves alive and stop ourselves from being overloaded at any given moment, right? We've talked about this a lot before. And so it's the same reason why, like when you go get headshots taken, they go, okay, Jeff, we're looking at your face and we know exactly what 3 outfits you should wear because you're not going to get casted for anything else.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like
you're a dad or a cop or a dad cop. Those are the three roles you can play.
Ooh. And let me tell you something. Dad Cop is coming to ABC Family and it's going to fucking own. Freeform is bringing you Dad Cop and it's going to be such a good show. But yeah, that's the thing, right? Is like, I have friends that look like I'm the happy-go-lucky all-American blah blah blah, and they are like the meanest, most depressed, most sarcastic, horrible people, right? But they're gonna play a happy-go-lucky kid in every movie or something. You know what I mean? Even though they're 40 and angry, but that's just what they look like. Because we have these notions of things, and we have these notions of names. Like you can ask, okay, all right. We're going to do this. Top baby names 2020. Let's take a look at the most popular baby names of 2020. And Jeff, first of all, I'm going to let you know.
I could guess them. I bet I could guess some of them.
Hey, you named some of them, as a matter of fact. So don't get too fancy with yourself or feel too proud. What do you think of an Olivia?
Right. Olivia. Yeah,
Olivia.
My wife really wanted that name for our daughter. And I was like, by the way, everyone's going to be Olivia in 5 years. And then secondly, I think Olivia is a very beautiful name. But again, it's a soft, round,
when
emotional.
I think of Olivia is having tea with Mr. Darcy. Olivia is Olivia is probably very good at the violin. You know what I mean? Like these are things that I think about Olivia, right?
Yes, and exactly. Falls into it's a Maluma, right? It's a Maluma. Yeah. And this is what's funny is when you look at the top 100 baby names of 2020, the top 5 for girls: Sophia, Olivia, Riley, Emma, Ava. So other than maybe Riley, which Riley still has sort of a Maluma sound to it. These names for girls, these names that we give to babies that are assigned female, tend to be Maluma, right? Then you look at boys' names here, and actually, kind of trending towards the same in the top 5: Liam, Noah, number 3 Jackson. Yeah, that's definitely a Tiquette.
That's a Tiquette, but then Aiden and Elijah. We love thinking of kids as soft and friendly, don't we?
Yes.
We just want to think about, does anybody think about what that kid's, I mean, I guess you do. You think about what's going to happen when our kid is 50 and is named like this, but you mostly think about, look, this adorable baby is going to have a round, soft, cute name.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, there isn't
Although I don't trust Jackson.
Hey, man, my son's Jack. He's close. It's close.
No, but here's the thing. Jackson name. Jackson is an affectation. Jackson is like a baby born born wearing glasses he doesn't need. You know what I mean? Like Jackson. Like, no, come on, man. Why your name is Jack? Don't come at Jackson. That's a last name.
Yeah.
Don't get fancy with me, kid. That kid's gonna try to pull one over on you. You know what I mean?
I think so. They have just too many syllables to deal with.
Now Noah, I can trust. Noah, I can trust. Not just because it's a good. No, well, I think it's probably partially because it's a good Jewish name, and I'm predisposed there. But also when I think about Noahs, I tend to think about introspective, artsy soft boys. You know, but not soft boys, but not soft boys in the way where they turn out to be fuck boys. I mean, genuinely soft boys.
Well, it's a soft sound, right? This is exactly the idea here. And the important thing to remember is there's no judgment. There's no like one is superior to the other. One is good and one is bad.
Oh, there's super
not
judgment. I'm judging. Kate, if you're still listening, we told you to fuck off.
I love you, Kate.
We told you to get the fuck out of here, Kate.
Don't we? You said it.
I
like Kate.
I speak
Kate
for the show as we have to be a unified front. We've discussed this. We run a business together. We cannot argue on the air. Kate, fuck off. See, now my name's a Maluma, but I'm a Taket.
You're definitely a Taket.
I'm a Taket.
Yeah. Your name is definitely Maluna. Anthony. Yeah.
Anthony.
I mean, yeah. Jeff is, I think that's more of a Taket.
You know, what's funny is when people don't know who we are and they look at the picture that goes along with the podcast. Can I tell you something funny? People
they think
assume
we're the opposite names?
They think we're the opposite.
Yeah.
They think we're the opposite person. Because I look like I guess in that photo I look like the softer boy. You've got like biceps and like a t-shirt in that photo. And so everybody's like, you're like that. Look at that fucking Taket right there.
Look at Mr. T-shirt over
here.
Look
at Mr. Biceps in his t-shirt. Now here's the soft boy with his beard and his glasses and his button down. That must be Jeff.
Yeah. Well, so the other interesting thing about this, Anthony, and we've talked about how there's a lot of theorizing that this, goes back to the birth of language and that this is sort of very primal sort of innate sense of these sounds, but they actually also tested it with native Mandarin speakers. And Mandarin, as you know, is a tonal language. So the same sound can change meaning based on the tone at which you speak it. And the fascinating
Jeff
thing
is about to give a perfect example right now. Jeff, give me a word in Mandarin that you can say 4 different ways. He's going to do it perfectly. Here we go.
I know how to say,
everybody. Jeff
Canada. La it low. I think it's supposed to be rock and roll. I think I was told that once. I don't know if it's true.
That's like when I was a kid and I thought I knew Yiddish because my grandparents spoke Yiddish and there were some cognates and I knew Pishin and Tonsin. Pishin is pissing and Tonsin is dancing.
And Pishin and Tonsin is my favorite attorney at law.
Yeah, it was my favorite bakery until I found out what their names meant.
Better joke. Well done. Anyway, so the fascinating thing about this is that for Mandarin Chinese speakers, the sound of Maloma and Taket tend to be interpreted in the opposite way. They think that high tones, the more high, like sharper, guttural stop, sounds are more steady, and therefore the rounded sounds.
They think that's baby shit.
The falling tone,
that's the tough guy shit.
Oh, those were more abrupt because it dropped suddenly, making it the spiky sound.
Huh.
Isn't that cool?
That is cool. That's fascinating. So I wonder, man, now I want to just go through, I want to just like dive into Chinese pop culture and find like popular fictional characters and stuff and see what their names are and see like my feeling on those names. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
But that's interesting because it is. Yeah. So you would think that names then children's names that are supposed to sound softer and friendlier, you would think that they would have more of those ticket noises if we looked at the top Chinese baby names of 2020.
Yeah.
Which we might.
Mandarin names. Yeah.
But I'm not going to try to say them out loud because that would be rude.
Yeah.
That'd be super rude.
They also did something else. They also did something else that was funny. They also went into Nepal in the Himalayas, and they tested this on speakers of Sayuba, which is a language that is only spoken in the Himalayan mountains in Nepal. And they went, what do you guys think about Malumba and Tiket? And the Sayuba speakers were like, fuck you. We don't have any opinion. It says they were confused by the made up words. They're like, I'm not playing your dumb game.
We don't have time for this shit.
We're not gonna. What is that? That isn't a word. Yeah, no. But what does it make you feel? It doesn't make me feel anything.
It doesn't make me feel anything because you're making garbage noises. Say a word. I'll tell you how that word makes me feel. That's a chair. You know how it makes me feel? Like I'm gonna sit down.
It said the Sayuba speakers seemed confused by the made-up words, possibly because they did not sound like any actual Sayuba words. This made it hard to form any meaningful associations. It's awesome. They're just like, go fuck yourself with your study.
That's fucking dumb.
That's not a word.
That's so dumb. Why don't you just try being better at words?
Don't walk into my village on my mountain and ask me a word that isn't in my language, buddy.
I have things to do. I have things to do, and you're coming in here like, you know what it's like. You know what we must have seemed like to them is it's like when your kid comes up and is like, hey, Dad, what does mean? You know when a kid decides he's going to try to figure out language? And it's just like, hey, Dad, what does blurgabber mean?
Yeah.
It's like nothing. Oh, okay, but what does gerbadibba mean? Hey, Dad?
Yeah.
And you're just like, nothing. That's not how language works.
That's happening right now, actually, in my household, because my kids have figured out that the Alexa will translate for them. So they're constantly asking what a word is in Spanish, but they ask it words that like their own names, like Daddy, what is Jack in Spanish? Alexa, what is Jack in Spanish? And then Alexa patiently will say, Jack in Spanish is Jack. And my son would be like blown away that, and I'm like, yeah, that's
like my name works everywhere. That's how names work, my dude. That's how names they'll call you whatever you say you want to be called. What you need to be like is like, hey, Alexa, how does the name Jack sound? And then Alexa goes, to cat. Sounds like an asshole. Sounds like a real jerk, that kid.
That'd be accurate.
Jack sounds kind of fine. Alexa would be like, is it Jack or Jackson? It's Jack. Oh, okay, then he's fine, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess he's all right, I suppose. This is really cool, and it does make me think a lot about like where the things where our implicit reactions come from.
Yes.
Why?
And it's encouraging.
Why?
It's encouraging because evidently we shed those biases immediately upon being presented with the truth, right? If I think the person is super extroverted because their name is Kate, and then Kate shows up and isn't like that, I go, oh, well, that's just not how this Kate is.
That's how most Kates are. That's what I think is funny is we probably still think that like it's just as bad for other Kates, but it's like, oh no. But like I know a good Kate.
yeah, I know a real Kate.
No, Kates are shitty, but I know a good one.
And that's cool. I think this is really interesting. And you're right. It is exactly speaking to these things that we just assume. And you go, well, why am I assuming that? And it's interesting how deeply it is held, culturally.
Yeah, for sure.
It is cultural because different cultures seem to have different associations.
Man, that's funny. I think it will be helpful when I travel places to see what my name means to those people before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or just assume a different name depending on where you are.
Find what the coolest name for me would be. And then go do that instead. Just based on the sound. That's kind of fascinating, actually. I'm into it. Hey, were you into that? Did you enjoy it? Give us money.
Kate? Are you still listening?
Are you Kate? Are you still
Please
listening?
Don't be
You're
offended.
not supposed to. No, Kate, be offended. You're not supposed to be listening. Kate, Kate, if you want to make it up to us, you can join our Patreon.
I mean, on that we agree.
We do not, we don't do any ads. We don't do any fancy pants stuff. We don't do anything like that, but we do bring you a show every week. And, we do a show so people will listen to it. So already by listening to the show, you are doing just as much and more than we could ever expect. So thank you.
I thought and more than we do.
I mean, collectively, yes.
Yeah, you're doing the heavy lifting.
Because we record it for like an hour and a half. But if everybody listens to it for an hour and a half, then they are collectively doing more heavy lifting than us, for sure.
Yes. And we appreciate it. Now, give us money.
Yeah. If you do enjoy the show, though, and you'd like to help us out and help us continue the show, a great way to do that is by heading to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns and volunteering a little bit of money every month. Like Jeff said, for just $1 a month, you get access to our Discord, which is a great place to hang out, talk about fun science, play some games, meet some cool people, do all the things. But also, as you give a little more, you get a little more every month, including bonus audio, extra episodes, and more. So go check that out, if you would.
Check it out.
Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. Jeff?
Yes.
1 or 2?
Ooh, I'm going 2. Going hard 2.
Hard 2. I want to talk about dopamine fasting.
Dopamine fasting?
Dopamine fasting, Jeff.
I think another word for that is boredom.
Jeff, you sound like a real negative Nancy right now.
Well, isn't dopamine the thing that gets released when I'm having a good time?
Buddy, let me tell you something about you. You're a real glass half empty kind of dude. I'm talking about dopamine fasting, and you're trying to paint it in a negative light already. Why is that?
I'm a real ticket, I guess. I don't know.
Real ticket, this guy.
Tell me about dopamine fasting. Is there a reason I should not have dopamine
Jeff,
inside me?
I'd love to talk to you about dopamine fasting. It was created just a few years ago by a California psychiatrist named Dr. Cameron Sepah. And let me tell you something. Dopamine, it's good. Like you said, that's the happy stuff, right?
It's the stuff that gets you going. Really, when it's released, woo, having a good time.
But Jeff, what if dopamine is also a mechanism that explains how addictions can become reinforced?
Ah, I see where you're going now.
Jeff, what if dopamine, that little dopamine hit that you get from a bunch of unhealthy behaviors? What if you get it? What if you get addicted to that? What if you need it all day, every day now because you're doing so many things in our modern technology-centric society that you can't live without the dopamine anymore?
Well, I mean, you accused me of being the glass half empty guy, but this feels like you're saying if it feels good, it's bad.
I can't believe you're trying to turn this around on me. You're such a ticket. Here I am trying to talk about a positive practice that we can add to our everyday lives to help slough off the negative forces in this world.
Well, here's how I agree with you, or see where you're headed, I think, is that, yes, these artificial little hits of dopamine that are transitory and kind of shallow, they aren't actually worthwhile. They just kind of give you that rub of feeling good for a few seconds, but you need more, which is why we're constantly on the phones. looking for another tweet that we can get angry about or feel good about, or we're constantly, trying to chase that feeling of give me a little more of that dopamine rather than having sort of deeper, more enduring feelings of satisfaction, right?
Yeah, exactly. You've got your beeps and your boops coming at you from all sides all day long.
I love my beeps and my boops.
Oh, you love the beeps and the boops. You've got junk food. You got social media, online shopping.
You know what I love doing? I love online shopping for my junk food while surfing social media with the beeps and boops.
Buddy, the kinds of Oreos you can find on Amazon.
Dude, we just had a mental link because I was about to bring up Oreos. Chocolate covered Oreos. We just bought chocolate covered Oreos, dude.
You get chocolate covered ones. You can get weird. They don't even go double stuff anymore. They go like the most stuff is what they're called. And they're like
all the stuff.
They're like an inch thick. They're like, dude, you can get so many flavors.
We both went to Oreos in the exact same moment, Anthony. I love it.
Buddy, we're just a couple of tiquettes. That's why.
We're just a couple of Oreo loving tiquettes over here.
Now you would think as a couple of tiquettes, we wouldn't love Oreos. Because that's a Maluma snack.
It's a big Maluma sounding.
You think we'd be talking about Tim
cookie.
Tams.
Can I tell you something funny?
Yeah.
So I've been getting Oreos lately. I haven't gotten Oreos in a long time, but lately got a couple packs of Oreos. Got the fudge covered Oreos, and I love the sort of vanilla, the white Oreos, the sort of yellowy white Oreos, not the lemon, but like the vanilla ones.
Right.
Love that one. So we had a big box of those. Container of them. And I had a couple, and my son Jack, who's 4.5,
such a cat.
Such a cat. Never had an Oreo before. Comes over to me and he goes, "Dad, what are you eating?" And I said, "I'm having a cookie." And he goes, "Can I try one?" I said, "Sure, you can try one." So I hand him one. He takes a bite out of it, and I go, "Do you like it?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Daddy, what's this between the two crackers?" and I was kind of stumped. I was like, It's
a bunch of chemicals, son. It's a bunch of weird ass chemicals is what it is.
I didn't want to just say sugar.
Right.
But I guess that's kind of what I ended up just going, it's frosting.
Right. I guess it's supposed to be like a cream filling, but is it?
Yeah. I love that he called them crackers, but he wanted to know what that stuff was. And I was like, I'm eating it, but I don't have a descriptor for it. I'm sorry, son.
Have you seen there's a trend on TikTok where people are like, what's the weirdest but most harmless behavior that you've picked up during the lockdown, during the pandemic?
Yeah. And
one woman was like, just showing off her collection of differently sized sticks. She's like a grown woman. She's just like, I don't know, here are small sticks, here are medium stand-up. And one woman was like, I only eat the outsides of the Oreos. And then she holds up this big glob and she goes,
Jesus.
And I save the middle and I don't know why.
Foul. Why is that so foul to me?
It's so weird. It's even weirder when you physically see it. Cause it like the Oreo cream filling is not like a pure white. It's like a grayish color. And when it's all lumped together, it looks like a dirty gum eraser in her hand. And it just, it's so weird. But yes, Jeff, your beloved vanilla Oreos, the whitest of the snacks.
I'm like, how can I have an Oreo but whiter?
How can I get a more Caucasian Oreo?
Oh, Jesus. Oh God.
These chocolate Oreos are too spicy. All of these things, supposedly, they give you these little bits of dopamine, right? And then,
yes.
And then we want to constantly look at the phone. We want to constantly be playing the video games. And so the idea of a dopamine fast is, hey, for like 24 hours.
24 hours?
Something like that. You know, it's you go on a total reward fast, okay? Food, sex, drugs, music, exercise, conversation, email, internet.
Yuck.
All of it. Anything that could trigger the release of the neurotransmitter dopamine. You got to reset your body to the baseline, Jeff.
I don't like the baseline because it's so boring there. But it occurs to me that this is isn't this meditation?
A little bit, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
A bit of it is meditation, but there's no, it's a little different than like a mindfulness study or a mindfulness practice, because you're not trying to sit and observe, and sort of, you're just removing the extraneous, right?
And how do I have so many questions.
Yeah.
If you do this for 24 hours in a row, does your... in the absence of like solitary confinement, doesn't your body find something to be stimulated by?
Well, see, you're sort of, what you're poking around, Jeff, is I think something that your brain is telling you, which is this is bullshit. Is that what you're poking around, Jeff? Does this sound like bullshit to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because it's bullshit. This is a thing that was created like by this psychiatrist in California, and this is one of these things that we talk about all the time, where it's dangerous to let a person learn a little bit of science without learning the rest of it. Because doesn't this sound exactly like what somebody who just learned what dopamine would tell you to do?
Yeah, just stop doing it. Just stop the dopamine, buddy. Stop it.
That's the problem. Is that's not how dopamine works. There is no evidence that any of the buzz, the rush, the pleasure signal, all of that stuff that we associate with these addictive behaviors or these detrimental behaviors, there's no evidence that stuff is linked to dopamine at all. Dopamine is the stuff that happens like beforehand. It's sort of the appetite, the motivation for this stuff.
Right, the anticipating of the pleasure center, right?
Right. The little thing when somebody likes your Instagram or whatever, or when you see a funny cat video or whatever the fuck it is you're doing, that's probably your opioid system inside your body.
Right.
And the thing is, dopamine, when you look at just dopamine itself, you're ignoring every other chemical and system and neurotransmitter and how they all work together in concert, right?
Right.
By saying, I'm going to fast, I'm going to dopamine fast, I'm going to get rid of all this stuff, and it's going to reset me. Reset you to what? Your body releases dopamine when it needs to release dopamine.
Yeah. And I mean, is it even possible to control that? I mean, to literally fast?
Well, here's the thing. There is some evidence that getting away from this stuff for a little while will help. We've talked before about like, hey, certain things become habitual and it's good to remove yourself of those habits. If you find that you're, in the case of somebody who will not be named here, if you're checking Twitter 75 to 100 times a day and it's making you real sad when you should be doing other things, maybe we tell you, and everybody in the Discord tells you, Jeff, put your phone away. And now we're not saying who this was.
Right.
But we're saying no names because we're trying to protect this person. But hey, Jeff, sleep with your phone in the other room for a week and see how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Because there are negative things that you can make habitual. But there isn't some mythological baseline.
Right.
There is an idea where like, yeah, you can reduce overstimulation. Certainly you don't want to be overstimulated. You've got two toddlers at home, like sometimes you got to like take it down a notch.
For sure. It does seem to me to be in this sort of pseudoscience thinking that it, embraces the sort of monkish ideals of ridding yourself of all external pleasures is somehow noble and therefore better. Mm-hmm. Like there's something more pure and essential about being a human being in isolation without any pleasures. If you can accept that and be this monastic sort of, blank slate, that there is something inherently preferable about that.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen like a rise of stoicism and things like that over the last few years. And this sort of, the mindfulness movement, like you're saying, this idea of like, hey, why don't we learn to remove ourselves from all this and be a minimalist or live off the grid for a little while. And all that stuff is good to a point. But, one of the things that they say about this sort of practice of dopamine fasting is like, yeah, cut out conversations and people. It's like, no, you should actually never cut out conversations and people.
Yeah, that's really kind of harmful to the human experience, that we are social animals and require that stimulation.
Yeah. I mean, there are some times when like you may be like, hey, I'm overstimulated, too many people, too much for too long. I got to go sit alone for an hour and just chill.
Yeah.
That's all fine. But the thing about that is like, you will feel when your body is overloaded. If you're talking about this in terms of a physical addiction or something like that, you will feel when you've had too much. What we're mostly talking about and why this is sort of a misguided practice is like, hey, if you're addicted to porn or video games or junk food, going and sitting alone,
all three at the same time,
or all three at the same time, because baby, we live in the future and you can do that.
Possible.
Sitting in silence for 24 hours once a week probably isn't going to do anything about that. You know what I mean? You're attacking a couple of neurotransmitters and chemicals that are not the full picture. A lot of times that stuff is connected to other things that are going on in your life, whether it's a depression or an avoidance or an anxiety or something like that, that you have to actually examine. You can't just be like, I'm going to cold turkey cut out the dopamine and that's what's going to fix everything.
So is this dopamine fasting been thoroughly debunked, or is it something that's catching on?
It's yes to both.
I mean, I guess those aren't mutually exclusive.
The answer is yes to both. There are a lot of people that are doing it more and more. It probably will not surprise you to learn that it's particularly popular in Silicon Valley right now. Because
it's funny, the people making the dopamine machines. Yeah, they're making the dopamine machines and they go, well, maybe we shouldn't actually do it ourselves.
Yeah. But there are some sort of like, there are, like I said, this particular type of practice has been like, you can't live your hedonistic life all week and then sit quietly in a chair and sip water only when thirsty once a week and reset your brain to good levels. But we have talked about things where like you can go on like retreats for like a week. They replace sort of checking, they take your phone away, or there are no bars, and instead of like checking your phone all week, they set you up with like a bunch of outdoor activities to do, and mindfulness and mindfulness practices and things like that.
Right. Yeah. Even just sort of being calm a few minutes a day, just for a few minutes a day, has been proven to have pretty dramatic positive effect on people, just calming the mind. I don't necessarily think it's linked to dopamine, but it certainly is useful. And I think, again, as you said, it's this kind of thing where it's like, oh, well, if I'm calm a little bit of the time, maybe if I was calm for 24 hours in a row, a little bit is good. So a lot must be better.
Right. Like, I'm drunk now, but if I stop drinking for 8 hours, I'll be sober. And then if I stop drinking for 24 hours, my hangover will go. You know what I mean? Like, there's this weird idea of like, this fasting as a concept is it's so interesting to people because it is a quick fix, right? If I drink juice for 3 days, the impurities will be gone from my body because I'm not putting any impurities in there for 3 days. I'll flush them out and then I'll be healthy. No, Kate, that's not how it works.
I don't think Kate brought that up.
With your 72-hour juice cleanse, Kate, that's dumb. All you're doing is not getting enough nutrition for 72 hours, Kate. That doesn't mean you can go for margaritas after. God.
Kate just wants you to feel better. She's nice.
She's peddling
Kate's a lovely
bullshit.
person.
She's selling juices in a MLM scam, and I won't have it. But we do stop listening to the show, Kate. But we do have this. We do have this need. We have two needs, right? Which is, and they're very interesting the way they intersect so often. Number one, quick fix. Number two, self-punishment.
Yeah. Yes.
We feel like a quick fix. We want to believe in the quick fix, and also we believe in self-punishment.
It has to hurt and it has to be uncomfortable, or it doesn't work.
Yeah. It's got to be cold turkey. It's got to be in 72 hours. It's got to be right now. And so the idea of sit alone in the dark for a day and it's going to suck so hard. But then
on the other side of it, you'll be a better person.
Mm-hmm. And then you can tell people about it, probably on social media. But you're not addicted to it anymore. You're just checking in because you took a day off.
Yeah, you're just trying to spread the good word about dopamine fasting.
You're trying to catch up.
Every time someone hears about how good you did, feels really good.
You have so much to share because you were gone for a day. And you have so much that you need to catch up with because you were gone for a day. But you're not addicted anymore.
That's funny. I hadn't heard about this dopamine fasting until you brought it up.
It's
I'm
weird.
sure I'll hear about it everywhere now.
Yeah, it's interesting, huh? And I think another reason why it's popping back up, it first popped up a couple years ago. I think why it's popping up right now is a lot of people are getting vaccinated. Things are starting to open back up. People are starting to go back to work. And there's this idea that we want to slough off everything that we became during this time when we sat and we were alone and we were depressed, right? Because a terrible thing was happening in the world. So there's this idea of, now I want to shake off all the things that I do when I'm sitting alone here in the apartment. What's a good way to do that? And I don't think it's bad to be like, hey, I'm vaccinated and I can go out now safely. Yeah, you should see other people who are vaccinated where you can hang out safely. You know what I mean? You should do things that are safe. Yeah. You go outside, like be in the park now that you're 90% less afraid of death. You know what I mean? Like, of course, do those things. Take, reintegrate those healthy things back into your life. But I don't know. You can feel okay. You don't have to feel bad about the way you spent the last year.
I definitely want to slough off the extra 15 pounds that I gained during COVID, but I also still have a lot of Oreos in the house.
So many Oreos and so many different weird flavors.
Yeah.
I got like a vanilla one with a strawberry frosting.
Ooh.
There's like a lot of good weird Oreo flavors. You can get like the mint ones and you can get mochi ones. Have you had the mochi ones?
I haven't had the mochis.
They're like
that sounds good.
There are like matcha ones. There's like so many good Oreos.
Dude, the fudge covered is godly. There's so much dopamine in those.
The dopamine that's in these Oreos, you're gonna fucking flip out, dude. You're gonna get so high off these Oreos. Do you know which ones I used to? Do you know which ones I used to like?
What?
They weren't even Oreos. They were like the shitty third, like off-brand version that was like one side was chocolate and one side was the vanilla, like you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Those were really good.
I remember those.
And it made me feel like I didn't have to choose.
Yeah, that's good. One less thing to worry about.
I got to have both. It wasn't as good as either, but I got to have both.
It's funny that you said that because I was just about to say, I can't find an off-brand Oreo that is as good as an Oreo.
What is they had like a weird name. It almost sounded like borax. The cookies. Do you remember those ones?
No, but I do remember the ones that were like half chocolate, half vanilla. I definitely remember that. I don't know where they came from or when I saw them, but there's some point at which but also like Trader Joe's has like weird Trader Joe Oreos that are terrible in comparison to Oreos.
Those are terrible. Those suck.
Yeah. It's just like the real deal. There's some weird voodoo in the real deal Oreo.
Jeff. The name of the cookies is Hydrox.
Did you say borax?
I said borax, which is I knew was bleach powder, but like I was like, my brain wants to say borax. But Hydrox was the original.
Totally remember Hydrox. They probably still sell those.
This has nothing to do with the rest of this. Look, the episode is done. You can all clock out.
We're done. You can stop listening, Kate.
But Kate, you should have stopped listening.
Oh, she can stop now. It's
an hour
over.
ago.
She listened to the whole thing. Thank you, Kate.
But everybody else, you can stop listening, or you can listen when I start listing off all of the currently available flavors of Oreos. Now, you can get Brookio, which is cookie dough cream.
Whoa.
You can get chocolate hazelnut, which basically seems like they have a Nutella in the middle.
I'm into it.
Java chip.
Nope.
No cookie, no coffee flavored snacks. That's not your thing.
No.
I'm the same way. I have some friends that are obsessed with coffee ice cream, and I'm like, how?
Awful.
Like good ice cream instead.
Terrible.
There's so many ice creams. Oreo mint, which we talked about. Birthday cake cream.
Haven't tried. Curious.
Chocolate cream.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate with dark chocolate cream.
Yes.
That's pretty good. Peanut butter pie sandwich cookies. So they're like the delicious vanilla with like chocolate peanut butter in the middle.
Like a fucking Reese's peanut butter cup as an Oreo.
Regular, but with peanut butter in the middle.
Yeah.
Carrot cake sandwich cookies with the vanilla and then a carrot cake filling. I fucking love a carrot cake, dude.
I love a carrot cake too. We were just talking about this the other day. Spicer brought up carrot cake and we were like, nobody talks about carrot cake, but carrot cake is always delicious.
People don't give carrot cake the fucking respect it's due. Here,
I agree.
There are two kinds of cake that I like, that I genuinely like. It's red velvet and carrot. Otherwise, like, I'm not a big cake person.
I'm not a cake person either. Give me pie any day of the
Pie
week.
is
But a
the
carrot
way.
cake, like, you never find a bad carrot cake.
No.
Carrot cakes are almost always good.
They're delicious. The last three flavors that are currently available right now: chocolate marshmallow,
Into it.
caramel coconut,
Into it. Oh, that's like a Samoa.
Mm-hmm. And then the lemon cream.
Yeah, I like lemon.
I like a lemon flavored cookie.
Oh, me too. You know what I love is a lemon bar.
Oh, fucking lemon bar. Get out of, yeah.
I eat the shit out of a lemon bar.
Jeff, did you know that you can get Oreo ID? It's like Nike ID where you make your own shoe, or like the Xbox controller thing.
What?
But you can create your own Oreos.
What? Like out of all the component parts of other Oreos?
So you choose between 8 different cream colors, but then...
Just colors or flavors?
Well, the cream colors are the simplest level they have. You can just do cream color if that's what you want.
Okay.
But
all right.
You can do cream color and flavor along with dip and sprinkles. You can also have images printed on these Oreos.
My face!
Your face on Oreos, my dude.
Wait a minute. Dip? You said dip and you passed over that like it wasn't a massive cool thing. Dip is, there's fudge covered, but are there other dips?
Let's go through and let's make an Oreo right now. Like I said, the episode's over. You can all clock out.
Yeah.
We're just going to make an Oreo right now.
We're just going to do this real quick. This is for us.
So first of all, you choose the color, but then you choose of your cream, but then you choose your classic Oreo flavor. You can do dark chocolate, lemon, birthday cake, or mint for your cream flavors. Which one do you want to go with?
Let's do birthday cake just for funsies.
We're going to do birthday cake, and then you can also... Yeah, okay.
What color do you want? What color are there?
Oh, we got to go with birthday cake sprinkles for birthday cake. Birthday cake is a special case, but that's okay.
Okay.
Now we go to our dip, and the dip is either dark fudge or white fudge.
Dude, a white fudge.
White fudge on a birthday cake? All right.
Oh, it might be a little. Is that like hat on a hat?
I don't know.
Do we need dark fudge on the birthday cake?
We could go either way. But I'm going to tell you that next we're adding sprinkles.
Well, then we should go dark.
Okay.
Because the sprinkles will show up so much better on the dark. You know what I'm saying?
Now, we can select as many colors as we like, and they'll do it all as a mix of red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, and white. I mean, I feel like we just do a big old mix, right? I'm looking at
They'll do it. You'll get a package and it'll have all the colors?
Yeah, it'll just have all the colors on it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like a fucking Easter egg hunt of Oreos?
Yeah. Oh, and it's just around, it doesn't cover the middle. It covers around the edge. So it's not entire, it's a ring of sprinkles around the edge. Like if you were to stand the Oreo up and roll it like a wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then in the middle.
Interesting. Why? Why would that? Oh, wait, what?
Because then in the middle, you can add an image or text.
What's the price tag on this Oreo?
It looks like $57 for 6. I don't know. I haven't gotten to the price yet. Jeff, we're blue sky solutioneering right now. We're not going to let economics get in the way.
Can you just upload a JPEG and they'll print anything that you want?
Yeah, they're going to upload a JPEG. I'm going to put the We Have Concerns thumbnail on it.
This is the greatest thing we've ever done.
It's amazing.
It took us 700 episodes to do this.
Why did we bother doing a science podcast in the front of this when we could have just done Oreo design immediately?
This is amazing.
Oh. And I'm going to edit the photo placement. I'm going to move it up a little bit so it's just our look at these two buddies. Look at these two buddies who are on an Oreo together.
This is amazing.
This is great, dude. This is great. Okay. Oh God, it looks so good. It looks so fucking good.
I want to eat that Oreo.
I'm gonna put a white background behind it so the photo is just gonna pop.
How long? Dude, this is amazing. We got a dark fudge, our faces, ring of sprinkles, inside birthday cake. It's just like, this is. They said that. You know.
What did they say? Tell me what they said, Jeff.
They said they're you know, you couldn't achieve your dreams.
Tell me what.
And here we are.
I like that when you get excited, you just turn into Morty. They said that we'd never be able to. You're just gonna make your own Oreo, Rick. Text. I mean, I feel like we don't need text.
No, we don't need text.
We don't need text. I'm done.
Our reputations precede us.
Okay, so. Oh wow, Jeff, what's
the cost of this Oreo?
These are pricey.
Yeah, I was worried about that. These are
pricey, my dude. They are for a 4 count of Oreo IDs. It's $10.95 with a minimum order of 5. We have to order
4 of them.
We have to order 20 at a price of $10.95 for 4.
Holy shit. We're going to need more patrons.
Everybody go right now to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. We don't ask you for anything, Kate, but we need to buy these Oreos.
You told her to stop listening,
but she didn't, because I know her, because that's just how she is.
It's a classic Kate.
Classic Kate. Up your pledge, Kate. But no, we really do thank you. I'm maybe going to order. You can order you can order 1 for $2.50, but then you have to in like a cool Ziploc like
a single Oreo for $2.50,
like in a blind bag where you open it up like in a capsule collection blind bag.
You're gonna send you 1 Oreo
for $2.50, but a minimum order of 10.
Jesus.
I'm gonna figure out the economics on this, but like if you want to help us order these Oreos or pay rent or any of the other non-Oreo things we do with the money, head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns and head to the Discord if you want to see this beautiful Oreo that I designed.
Oh yeah. Post the image. You got to post that image so that we can all buy our own Oreos. Or actually just give us your money so we can buy Oreos. Please.
Please.
Thank you.
Bye.
Please and thank you.